Everyone. Every day we rise. It's a great day to be alive. And the Seven Cities Forums of Hampton Roads presents Portsmouth Coffee Talk. And I'm here, James Slim Overton, with my fellow co-hosts, Leah Drake Stitt and Thomas the Colonel Chapman. Good morning, co-hosts.
Good morning, James.
How you doing? Okay, Leah, let's just take a sip of coffee. That was kind of slow.
It's been a long weekend.
Yes, I understand. I saw you out there doing your thing.
Yes.
And we have a special guest, but before we get started, I'd like to say rest in peace to Bill Russell. He passed away over the weekend, and one of my idols growing up, and like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and Jabbar, those centers used to be my idols. Those guys that played with their back to the basket that we don't see anymore, and they were called centers because the game was centered around them. And so no one will ever reach the things that Bill Russell did, 11 NBA championships, 2 of them while he was a player coach. And, just living in Boston and going through what he had to go through racially as a player, not being able to stay in certain hotels in towns he went to. So he really went through it. He was a great player, a great analyst later on, and just a great human being. And so we say rest in peace to Bill Russell, who was one of the greatest basketball players ever in the NBA.
And James, while we're giving our condolences also
Sure.
to Nichelle Nichols, who was on Star Trek.
Oh,
First interracial kiss on TV,
yes.
but she passed as well. Actress, singer, dancer, a lot of accomplishments under her belt as well. So Nichelle Nichols also, we express our condolences.
Hadn't heard that. And you remember when she was thinking about quitting, she got a message from Dr. Martin Luther King telling her that what she represented at that time.
That's right.
Having a face up there that we didn't see on TV at that time.
Exactly.
So, condolences to her and her family as well. Wow. We lost some giants,
Yes, we
in
have.
the sports and entertainment field. But anyway, we are here with our special guest, and Leah brought him to us. So I'm going to let Leah go ahead and introduce our special guest this morning.
All I can say is motivational, inspirational. Les Young, the first time I met him at Norcom High School, I was deeply impressed. I was impressed how motivational he was, as well as the thoughts and ideas that he had in order to get us back to where we used to be at Norcom High School. Les Young is the AD, athletic director at IC Norcom High School. He is from St. Martin in the West Indies, and his father is a minister, has been a minister for 44 years in St. Martin. And once you hear Les, you would think that Les has been a minister for 44 years. But anyway, Les Young, who has come to Norcom, he just reminds me so much of those who were in leadership positions in Norcom back in the day. And the kids often hear us talking about Les back in the day, but we have to remember where we come from and the source from which we come. And I'm just so thankful that Les is now a part of the Norcom family, and he is going to bring great things to the Norcom family. And it's going to be, I call this our revival season. We're going through revival now. And it's just my pleasure to present to some and introduce to others, none other than Coach Les Young. And the amazing thing is Les Young's mother-in-law and I went to school. Les was not a Norcom graduate, but he was grafted into the Norcom family. He has just been surrounded by great Norcom people. His wife is a Norcom graduate. So, his daughter is a Norcom graduate. So he's a Norcomite. He's grafted in. So Les, we're so happy to have you as a part of our Norcom family. And we wanted to say welcome to Norcom and welcome to Portsmouth Coffee Talk.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning to everyone. It's
Good morning.
First of all, it's a blessing to be alive and see another beautiful day that the good Lord has granted unto us. But thank you all for having me.
Wonderful. And
Coach,
let me say before James gets started, Janari is already on saying, Good morning, Coach. You know, Janari, he graduated. He's gone on to Norfolk State. But Coach, we got the reins on him. We're gonna keep him there at Norfolk High School, are we not?
Oh, that's my son. He's gonna be around. He's right up the street, at Norfolk State. So whenever I need him, I can pull on.
Okay, I'm sorry, James. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, call on him.
I will.
Hopefully I can call you Les.
Of course. Les. Coach Young or Les. I've been called Coach Young for over 30 years. So
yes, okay. I wanna keep the respect. But anyway, let's start off by telling us what is the actual role of the athletic director in the Portsmouth school system, as well as at Norcom.
So the actual role of the athletic director is to manage all facets of the athletic program. And I think sometimes we those of us who come from one particular sport, we see athletic from only that sport only. So for me, who was a basketball track guy, I would have a tunnel vision and just see athletics from basketball perspective and from track and field perspective. Or the parent whose child only play football, she only sees football. But the athletic director's job, like it says, to direct the athletic department. And it's all facets from cleaning up the grounds to setting up the mic before the basketball games start to breaking down after the game is over. So if you think about a function that you have at your house and it's your function, you're doing the function. You have family coming over. You have to make sure the food is prepared, the house is clean. And then when they leave, you have to clean everything up. That's the function of the athletic director in a nutshell, if I did justice to that.
Yes. And so glad to have you on too, because we want to make sure that our listening audience knows that even though we're going into the football season, it's a lot of other sports that are starting in the fall that we should recognize and support, as well as the football team.
That's right. That's right.
Other sports that are starting or already started or they're starting practicing now.
Of course, that's right. And it's important to send that message that we're not just a football and a basketball school, because we limit ourselves when we do that, when we send that kind of message, because from the outside, people see only those sports. So if we send the message that we're just a football school, if football have a terrible year, everybody says the athletic department didn't do well. So we must send a message that there are 17 other things going on. We have Scholastic Bowl here where our kids did excellent. We had 8 student athletes at Norcom last year, student athletes that had better than a 4.0 GPA. We had 39 student athletes with better than a 3.5 GPA. So we're not just a football school. We're not just a basketball school. Of course, the tradition is unbelievable in football and basketball over the recent years, but our track and field program has always done well. We have a golf program here that's being ran by Coach Wayne White, who's I think a 71 graduate. They just had their reunion and it was unbelievable.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. And Coach Wayne White is so proud of his class.
I know.
I hear it every day from him. But and just a plug for him, he is so passionate about the kids who do golf here at Norcom is unbelievable. I mean, he goes over and above. But in the fall, we have our competition and our sideline chair. Karen Britt, who heads up the program, is an alumni. Her husband, Donald Britt, is an alumni who has his own business in this area. So the tradition is rich. It continues. What we need to do is make sure we shed light on all of the programs so people don't put us in a box and thinking that we're just a football or a basketball, a track and field school. Just to let you know, in the fall, today is technically, well, not technically, it is the official start date of fall practice season. So in the fall, we offer competition in sideline chair. We offer boys and girls cross country. That's a sport that we need to really, really revive. And Leah said we're in that revival place for Norcom. Cross country needs to be revived. We have obviously JV and varsity football. JV coach is Sam Blake. And obviously I'll talk more about our new head football coach who's coming in with a passion and
Oh,
a fire second
yes.
to none.
Yes.
Second
to none. Second to none.
His passion and his love for Norcom is unbelievable. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. That's Coach Anthony Hawkins. I think he's class of, I don't want to give him the wrong class. I want to say 96.
96, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't
think
want
it's 96.
class. And girls and boys volleyball. Those are our sports that we offer in the fall. So we kick off the fall seasons today. Practice starts. It varies. Football coming in at 7:30, and they'll be done around 1. There's some rules. They're obviously not practicing the entire time. We can't practice more than a certain amount of time. But they're going to be taking breaks in between breakfast and lunch throughout the day. Competition chair, their practices varies throughout the week, but generally from 2:30 to 5:30. They do a couple of days here at Norcom and a couple of days at a gym away from Norcom. Golf practice is going to start in the evening. With Coach Witt at 6 o'clock. Cross country is 7 p.m. And volleyball, girls have started. Boys will start later. Girls is 4 to 6 p.m. So that's our fall breakdown. We can talk about the winter and the spring later on.
Yeah, I just have one other question. Is the swimming team still active? I know that's been a program that came up later.
Yes.
Wasn't something that Norcom really had. Other schools had it, and at a disadvantage because we don't have a pool. We had the swimmers had to go elsewhere to practice.
Yes, sir.
Is that and it's hard to get students, that think about swimming, as one of the sports.
Swimming it's one of our winter sports. Swimming, actually, one of the head coaches, Janine Long, who's married to Officer Long, she's an alumni. She's an alumni. So, and if you notice, I keep saying alumni because one of the goals is to have as many alumni in the program, if they're qualified, obviously, not just an alumni, but qualified, passionate alumni, who actually have a vision for the program, not a personal agenda. But yes, swimming, it's now called swim and dive. Not just swimming anymore. It's called swim and dive. We have a boys and girls program. And it's in the wintertime. And yes, it's a sports generally in the Black schools that's at a disadvantage because our kids don't have access to, let's just say, practice facilities all year.
Right.
We'll leave it at that.
Now, they used to practice at the old girls club. Where are they practicing now for the swim?
We've been at the YMCA this past year.
At the YMCA? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're trying.
Very good.
We're still in the works of trying to find something that's probably a little cheaper, but yes, it costs now. It costs.
It does. It does.
So, but Coach Janine Long and Kimberly Tate, Miss Tate, who's been at Norcom for several years,
yes.
They head up that program and did an excellent job last year.
Well, maybe down the road, if people know about the program and support it, down the road we will have a facility to accommodate a championship swimming team.
Down the road for all our programs.
Yes.
Exactly.
Part of it comes from the inside. I hate when coaches or people who work at the school talk about what people not giving us, but it needs to start with us. So we need to show passion about our program. And when I say we, it starts with the athletic director and trickles down to the coach. We actually start with the building principal. And this is his building or her building. It starts with them. The passion has to come from within. So there's a lot of things that we need to revive. And I'm gonna throw that word again. And it has to start at home first. We don't expect people to show passion if we don't have that passion. So the buck starts with us.
Yeah, and it's really important because you have a lot of passionate alumni that sits in those stands. A lot of Monday morning quarterbacks that sit in those stands that are really passionate from all different eras of Norcom. And it's nothing wrong with having coaches or people involved in the athletic or academic programs from other schools or didn't attend Norcom, but it really is an advantage when you have all those alums in there that come there and bring that passion already, don't have to learn it.
And you're correct. You're correct. That's important. I mean,
it's out, like you said, within, and then it spreads out throughout our fan base.
Well, you can't beat the passion of an alumni. I mean, when I go back home to my school, I mean, I walk in the building and I feel like it's mine. So you can't beat that passion. And the legacy. We lose the legacy if we lose the passion of the alumni. So we can't dismiss that. I mean, the way the history, if you think about Black people, before we can put things on pens and paper, it was told from one generation.
That's right. That's
so
right.
That lives on in the passion. I sit with my mother-in-law who talks about Norcom for hours, and so you can hear it, and not just her, but all. Dr. Knight, who, I go up to his classroom and he can just spit history after history about Norcom. And I remember one of my first experience at a football game at Norcom. I was coming through the gate, just a regular coach. I'm just one of the assistant coaches. My daughters are here. And this gentleman stopped me. I had on a Norcom shirt, and he asked me if I was a coach, and I said I was. And he was an older gentleman, bent over, and he was walking very slowly. So I helped him. I kind of held his hand and I walked him in. And as we were talking, he just started just giving history of Norcom. It was just unbelievable, and you can hear it in his voice. The voice wasn't as strong anymore, but you can tell as strong as he can talk, he was bringing it out to me. And he didn't know me from Adam. He just saw the Norcom shirt. So that just, you can tell it's here at Norcom, man. Historically Black high school. So can't be.
Les, it's amazing because I may have mentioned on the show that I was told that we needed to rebrand Norcom. And I told the individual who told me that, I said, no, we don't need to rebrand Norcom. We need to reclaim what we had in the past, because the past couple of years, the energy and the excitement and the love for what we have, it has faded away. And it is incumbent upon us to come together to bring that back, to bring that love, to bring that energy back. And that's why I say this is a revival period, because with the alumni working directly with the school, they're working directly with you, you can feel the energy building up again. And we are hoping that we can give that to the students so that they can know why for so long, for almost 110 years, this love has existed. And so, but we have to do it. They don't know. Before, the children could say, well, my mother went to Norcom, my father went to Norcom, my grandparents went to Norcom. But a lot of the students now, their parents may not have gone to Norcom. They don't know the history of Norcom. And previously, in previous administrations, there was a class that the students had to go through where they learned about the history of Norcom, where they would learn the alma mater. No one left that building not knowing the alma mater. And the amazing thing was, we had a reunion, we had a person who was over 100 years old who attended the reunion. And some of the younger people who we invited were amazed that they still know the alma mater. They still can sing that alma mater. And that's the energy that I'm getting from you. That's the energy that you imparted upon me the first day that I met you. And that's why I know that we are in for some great and amazing things to take place at Norcom. And the fact that we have to support all of these teams, whether we win, whether we lose, we have to be there to show them that love and to encourage them to go on. But that's my little spiel for today. I'm gonna get like the Colonel, and I'm getting into my little rants now, Colonel. Colonel, I learned from you, Colonel, but I just had to say that, Les, because that's what I got from you. The first day I met you, I said, oh, this is going to be a great year. This is going to be an excellent year at Norcom, and I'm really looking forward to it, with the sports, as well as all the other activities that are taking place at the school. But let's get into football, because I know your time is short here.
Well, we're good.
We got a big event coming up on August the 20th.
Yes. So this is Coach Hawkins' brainchild. I told you, this man is unbelievable. This was his thought process. Well, first of all, like I said, he's a Norcom all the way, but he's also a community man.
He is.
So his whole concept behind this was just to bring the community to Norcom. Well, he wants to bring the community to Norcom every day. If you talk to him,
Right.
he wants people to come back. So this is a date he set aside to where he's calling a tailgate concept. So you can I'm put this plug in. You can buy a spot just like we do for homecoming. You buy a spot for your group or just you, and it's $100. You can pay for that at the main office with Mrs. P, our bookkeeper, directly to her. And what he wants to do is have the community to just come together in a peaceful setting where you have easy access to him and the student athletes. And parents can ask him questions. They can interact with the students while having some fun, eating some hot dog or whatever you choose to put on the grill. But it's away from the actual game setting. It's just a chance to interact. And of course, it's a fundraiser for the football program as well. That's part of it. So even if people don't have the time to be there, August 20th at 4:00 might be a bad day and a bad time. They can just come in and make a donation towards the football program, because like everything else, there's rules to what we do. So this is considered an official fundraiser. That means you can just make donations. You don't have to just give $100. He has a vision, and this is part of his vision is to make sure there's a connection. The key right there with him is a connection between the community, the head football coach, and the football program. His goal is to make sure that, and I'm speaking for him, but I know I'm doing it justice. His goal is to make sure there's not a dissension or disconnection between the football program and the community. Now, on my end, my goal is to make sure there's no disconnection between the entire athletic program and the community. He has that, obviously, which he has to have. He's focusing on football. My goal is to make sure people know that we have a Scholastic Bowl team. We have a boys and girls tennis team, and we want to make that. We don't want to bridge that gap. I think there's there seems to be a huge chasm between Norcom athletics and the community to a certain extent. Don't get me wrong. People still love and come and support. But there's a chasm somewhere along the line. Part of it is our fault, communication.
Exactly.
Being able to put information out. This is a modern day time. Information has to continuously come. And that's part of one of the things that we need to do. You mentioned Janari Davis. He's excellent in doing that. And I'm going to put a plug for him. He's going to make a wonderful athletic director at Untitled one day, probably sooner than people think. He's great on doing that, the social media thing, and getting the message out. I'm learning a little bit, but that's not my world. I like to stay in my lane. But there's part of it is just bridging the gap with the information first, and I think we stopped doing that a couple of years ago. So it'll be nice to revive it. How about that?
And Janari just posted, make sure you all follow our social media pages, Facebook, Norcom AD, Instagram, and Twitter at Norcom Athletics. So he's putting it out there for you as well. And so it's
right
on the page.
Right on cue. That's my man. So let's talk again. So the community thing on August 20th, we'd like maximum support. Again, if you can't come out and just sit out with us on your lawn chairs or in the parking lot, just send us a donation. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to drop a name right here, Miss Allman, Nikita Allman. I'm pretty sure she'll have it live on Facebook. So
she will.
Yes. She is a Miss Norcom, right?
Yes, she is.
So she's been one of my greatest helpers, along with Janari Davis. But it will be on social media live, that you can see the folks that's there if you can't make it. But again, just support in any way you can. any way you can. Financial support is obviously needed, but just saying some positive things to our student athletes when you see them in Walmart or when you see them on the street, saying some positive and encouraging words to them, that would help as well. That goes a long way.
And Coach, I like what you said. Student athletes. That's what Joe Langston boomed at Norcom High School. Academics first.
Yes, ma'am.
Athletics second.
Yes, ma'am.
And in talking to Coach Hawkins also, he's going to have our young men to show up on Fridays with shirt and ties on.
Yes, ma'am.
That's going to be a change to see in that building again. Believe me,
Yes,
he's really channeling Joe Langston. He's really channeling Joe Langston in the activities and the way that he's working with the parents and working with the students, and with the community.
That's right.
Joe really pulled the community together,
Mhm.
So it's going to be. Go ahead, Coach.
In this day and age, we need that. We need our young people to feel a part of something positive, because again, as you know, as parents, if we don't occupy them, they will find something to occupy.
Oh, they will. They will.
And there are people out there who are trying to occupy their time. So with what Coach Hawkins is trying to do, he's trying to keep our kids connected positive from within the school as well as outside. So giving them something that they're proud of, not just on Friday nights. It's easy to get excited on Friday nights. I was talking to the parents in his parent meeting last night, and I told him, I said, we need the same passion and energy that as parents we have on the day that our kids compete. We need that same passion and energy in the day of the teachers parent conferences.
Exactly.
We keep seeing 500 parents at the football game and 5 at parent teachers conference.
Exactly.
But athletics is an academic led institution in the high school level and the collegiate level. Unless you've already signed $8 million, you better make sure you go into class. So yes, they are student athletes because there are academic requirements before they can become an athlete. That's why it's considered a student athlete, and it's academic based. High school athletics, that's what it is. In the early 90s, we coined that term. It's an academic based program that VHSL is running. It's not just sports. And again, unless your child is going to make that $8 million, make sure they get up and go to class. So I think Coach Hawkins sees that, and he's instilling in that. He's not the only coach that's doing that, but he's bringing something special because football is special. And plug for most of the coaches, most of our coaches here, because people don't know them as much, but most of our coaches are on that same page, trying to spread that message. You are a student first, and an athlete second, because if you are not a good student, you will not be an athlete. And let me touch on something here, and without preaching to the choir. When the pandemic hit, VHSL, not just Virginia, but most of the athletic entities decide to not have a GPA requirement. I am going to go on record to say, I know that hurts our Black communities.
Oh, it does.
They need no GPA requirement as far as VHSL is concerned to be eligible. Now there's argument on both sides, and we can agree to disagree. Because one of the argument was, well, during that time there were no internet connection for some of the people, so they could not, if they live in certain areas, they could not have access to the internet. So there's a great argument there. But with that being said, our kids have become complacent, and satisfied with the fact that I don't need a GPA to be eligible. All I need to do is show up on game day, on practice day. So I think it's it doesn't help our student athlete in the Black communities. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Colonel?
Yeah, I'll let Slim tell us about the transition in 2 minutes. because it's almost there.
Boy, that time went so quickly.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
so-
I'm okay.
You good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see my football coach. He's here, so I'm okay.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we still have to make the transitions from the radio. And we want to thank all the listeners, radio listeners on WGPL 1350 AM radio dial for listening with us this morning. And please join us again next Monday as we have another special guest and we share more information with our listeners. We appreciate you always. And we will stay on Facebook Live and continue with Les Young, the Norcom AD. And let me say this before we get started, before the Colonel comes on. Now, we're going to reach out to all the other Portsmouth schools as far and try to get their athletic directors or coaches and talk to them like we're talking to Coach Young here today, to give all exposure to all our schools. And each one of our schools has a little bit of history as well. Although we want all the students to know about Norcom because of his history and where it stands in the history of the city of Portsmouth, as far as being one of the only remaining Black schools left. So, but we will reach out to Manor, Old Wilson, and what's the other?
Churchland.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, Churchland Truckers. You all have a history too. We'll reach out to all the schools and have them on and share information about their programs as well. But today is Norcom's Day. It's the Greyhound.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Go ahead, Colonel Mr. Weston Branch.
Yes,
but his wife is a Norcom graduate. Okay.
No, wife is a Norcom grad, so he has that.
yeah, I have that connection. So, but also, let me give the disclaimer: is that the views listed on this stated on this program are those of the guests and the host, and that is it, and not of the radio station. And so that'll keep us out of anybody's Facebook jail or whoever. So saying that, I like what there's a couple key points that we were discussing. And Coach, you talked about first the alumni. And I always said the alumni is the blood that flows through the athletic program and the community. Because as you see, a lot of your coaches are coming back that have direct connections to the program because they were born and raised, and so it is a great start in. So they have buy-in per se to the program. The other key point I think is that we emphasize is being a student athlete, because one, if you're to be academically eligible to play, you have to keep that GPA up at a minimum level or exceed that minimum level, which that student that's not in an athletic program does not. And so basically it has probably, if you look at statistically, they have a higher proportion of students, just like in the RTC program, there's statistics that they have a higher graduation rate than the typical child that's going through without that connection. And I will tell you, for say Army ROTC, which spends tens of thousands of dollars, or tens of millions of dollars in high school programs for ROTC, they don't use that as a graduating or a recruiting tool for Army ROTC, but they use it to get kids through so they can graduate and make them better citizens. So that's a well-spent money that the Army uses to improve our communities and so on and so forth. So for those parents out there, encourage your children to be a part of an athletic program. And we don't give a lot of kudos to, say, the golf team or the swimming teams and those other things, because they say, and I'll use the example of swimming, especially for inner youth. we're not exposed to that, and that exposure piece is 9/10 of the game.
That's right.
And I will give you a true, here's an example of that exposure. When I was the chief nurse executive in Cadet Command, I had a student, one of the requirements is, for an officer doing RSTC, you had to have passed the swim test. I had a couple kids that were from Philadelphia that had never been in the water in their lifetime. And so, and couldn't swim a lick after they was trying. And they were getting ready to lose their scholarship or lose their commissions because they couldn't swim. Had a fear of that. And I remember, because both of them were nurses, I told the brigade commander, I says, I don't care if they could swim myself. I want them to be able to be at the front of the table to save my life when I get blown up.
That's right.
And I don't care how many push-ups they can do, as long as they're clinically sufficient and to save my life. But I had one of my nurse counselors, I assigned him and said, you just make sure that they're there 5 days a week, and y'all be in that pool till you can get them through. And we got them through, and now they're officers today.
Right.
So, but here's the piece of the connecting piece that what I'm seeing here too is I am glad to see you there as a person of color in your position, because statistically we aren't there as far as those numbers are small, and I don't have it couldn't find it for in the high school arena a percentage of ADs of color, but I know on the collegiate level, it's around 16 or below percent across on the collegiate level.
Yeah, it's under 20% at the collegiate level, especially at the majors. Well, at the majors is under 8% at the majors.
Yes.
But when you include the lesser schools, that I hate to use that term, lesser, but the smaller schools, not count the HBCUs, that's without HB, it's less than 20%. But at the high school level, it's a larger number now. But obviously, a couple of years ago, it wasn't. In fact, when we go to an athletic directors meeting and you look through the audience, you can tell it's just slim pickings.
Yes. But you know what? The big thing to that is we have to be seen. Yeah.
Well, and also we have to prepare ourselves. One of the things is, I hate when we as my color, our color, we complain, but we don't do what we need to do.
Exactly.
So we have to prepare that. We can't just say because I'm a good football coach, I'm going to be the AD. I'm a good basketball coach. There's rules to this stuff. So there's certifications. You obviously should have some degrees. It'd be nice that you study something along the line of sports management if you're going to manage athletics. It'll be nice that you get the certification and keep up with the certification. There's a registered athletic administrator. There's a CEA and so on and so on. So, a lot of times we cry about not being involved or not being a part, but we don't put ourselves in that arena by preparing controlling the things we can control. So, but again, I digress. In the past, and you're correct, there's been a small amount of us in this arena. Very small.
Very small. And then past that, we talked about the impact of athletics and being a student athlete on kids. And then some of the kids will ask, well, I don't need, they'll have the question, I don't need to go this class or that class to run that ball or hit it or whatever. My response, or there could be a response, is yes. Not everybody is going to sign, as you say, sign that $8 million contract right out of high school or in the collegiate level. Because say if I'm going to get a college scholarship, I've got to have certain GPA, so I've got to go to school.
Right. Exactly. So, and that's the part I'm saying with preparing ourselves. If I want to get into the Stanford I need to meet the Stanford requirements.
Yes.
I can't sit back and say, man, Stanford wouldn't give me an athletic scholarship. Well, you didn't meet the academic requirements, the basic requirements. If they demand a 3.0 and 1100, then you work towards that. And then if you make those requirements and then you don't get in after you apply, if you apply in a timely manner, you know, then you can argue. But, you know, we tend to create this environment for our kids where, you know, because we make them feel like it's, you know, that everybody should give us. No, we got to work for these things. We have to put ourselves in a position to get it. Dr. Martin Luther King said, if you're going to be a street sweeper, be what? Be the best street sweeper.
Be the best street sweeper that ever lived.
Yeah. So if I know that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to find me a little broom and start sweeping. I can't wait for somebody to bring me a broom. That comes from my dad. My dad said it all the time. You waiting on somebody to bring you a broom?
How about that?
Go find a broom, make a broom, and start. And maybe somebody will see that, hey, this young man is trying to be a street sweeper. You know, and so we you know, it's like talking to the kids, and I do motivational speaking, and I go around, you know, and I tell kids all the time when they complain about the cops pulling them over. I said, but you know, okay, I've been there. 1989, I got pulled over in Lynchburg because I was just Black and 6'2". So I've been there. I've experienced that. But if you give people a reason,
yes,
you know, if you're going down the street swerving and you're going down the street and it's 10 of y'all in a car that only fits 4, then they're probably going, the probability of them pulling you over is high. So we need to send that message as well, that we have to make sure we prepare ourselves for these opportunities. We have to make sure that we're taking care of our business. And that word character, like my dad always talk about character, what you do when people not looking.
Amen.
You know, that's
right
now for our young people. You know, the character, what are you doing to prepare? You know, but so to get in that arena, we sometimes have to prepare ourselves. Don't get me wrong, there are some biases and racism and all that stuff still exists. But we need to make sure we've crossed all our T's and dot our I's in order to make sure when the opportunity arises, we can walk into those arenas. You know, I didn't come to Norcom to be athletic director. I came to Norcom to retire.
How about that?
My 2 daughters wanted to graduate from here because grandmama graduated and grandmama got sick. So we moved back from the Dinwiddie area. I was working in Dinwiddie area, and my wife is a school teacher as well. So we moved back to be close to her, to mom. And I just got a couple more years, I could walk in the sunset. But my preparation in life, the things that God has allowed me to do prior to coming here, the opportunity arose, and the person called and said, hey, you know, we know you have some experience. Are you willing to do this? You know, and you know, but I was prepared to a certain extent. You know.
Yes.
And you know, Coach, as you
mentioned something. Let me get in, Leah. Leah.
Okay.
Coach, you mentioned something because it's germane to what he just finished talking about. You mentioned something about, you know, I was going to ask you about, because you experienced, you know, HBCU and a PWI. You know, you went to St. Paul, and you went to, and you said you got pulled over in Liberty, and probably wouldn't have gotten pulled over for the same thing in Lawrenceville.
Exactly. Well, that's another debate. But yes, I had both experiences. I was blessed. I've been always surrounded from having great parents, still alive, Dr. Reverend James Young and Mrs. Young, excellent parents, but I had an older brother who kept me straight. So I had great surroundings, but then I was blessed to have excellent coaches. I went to Liberty University, and you know, an injury stopped my career. And that message is so real to kids, because, you know, you can have all these aspirations to be the superstar, but if one injury, I had a bone spurs. Bone spurs now is nothing. Like, you can go in and out and take care of that. But in the 80s, it wasn't like that. You know, so that bone spur caused me a career. Well, I put it this way, it caused me money, but I have a career. But the exposure that I have, that exposure is experience. And Colonel, you touched on kids not being exposed. I was exposed to that I'm going to just say the white school. And then I went to St. Paul's, where I exposed to the Black experience. So I'm able to relate. And that's important. That's very, very important. And it's important that I know as parents, we take our kids to as much experiences as possible. Let them see as much things as possible. And it's the same thing we have to do here within the school system, is expose our kids. And Norcom does a great job of that, the different field trips and the different things that kids are exposed to. Well, I'll say Portsmouth Public School, period.
And you know, and getting back to the student athlete piece, I think that it was great of Hawkins to have the parents and the students to sign a contract. So therefore, no one is confused as to what is expected of them as far as the academics are concerned, as well as far as they're playing athletics on the field. Because he said that if your character is out of order, he doesn't care how great a football player you are, you're not going to get on that field.
That's right.
Character is very important to him
That's
at this time. And because so often, if a student was a great athlete, they would let them play regardless as to what they brought to the table 5 days a week before time for that game time.
Right.
And he's expecting so much more of them. And that's important. And like I said, the parents know. Parents signed the contracts. The kids signed the contracts. So they know what's expected of them.
That's
There
right.
are no misunderstandings.
It's transparency. It's transparency. And it makes the parents feel connected as well. They don't feel like they're away from the program. So he's doing an excellent job in bridging that gap, that chasm that I talked about. He's bridging that gap to the community, parents, and making it real, making it a something that's tangible and not just, oh, we're going to play football. He's doing an excellent job of doing that. Excellent.
And I know, what time are we? I don't have my watch on because I know we are quickly
It's
approaching
7:15.
7:15. Well, one thing I want you to get in, Coach, if possible, is the grand homecoming we're planning for this year. We're getting back to where we were before. Share
Yes.
with us all of the great ideas we have for homecoming coming up.
All right, so let's touch on homecoming. Homecoming week is the week of October 24th through the 29th. Our actual homecoming game is on October 29th. We're playing Norview High School, which it's a little different this year because the homecoming game is the last game of the season. Generally it's not that way. But October 14th, which would have been our the previous which could have been the homecoming game, we would be rivaling Norfolk State, and we just didn't want to have that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Through that, and so it's going to be October 29th at 1 p.m. We're going to beat up on the Pilots. Yes, we are. But let me say this: the doctor, and I'm going to give him his due reward, Dr. Joseph Knight, because he has 2 doctorate degrees.
2 doctors.
Yes, he's heading up the parade this year, and I'm telling you, he is so excited to do it. He's bringing it back, like he said. It's going to be second to none. The parade will start at 9 o'clock. He's working diligently to get that back to where it was, and we're excited. Dr. Foster and I are excited that he's in charge of it, and it's going to be grand. But let me just go through some of the things. Everything is not set in stone yet. We want to get away from just the party. That the alumni can take care of that. They're going to do that. That's going to happen. So I'm not mentioning those things. That's not what what I'd like to do, and hopefully the alumni president and I will get together real soon. We'd like to filter in the alumni as much as possible. So that week, from the 24th to the 29th, on the 25th, and nothing is set in stone yet. These are just ideas that we have that we're working on. On the 25th, if the alumni president can help us, we'd like to set up an alumni flag football game. Alumni, I say.
Wonderful.
Flag football game.
They would love that.
Yep, that's the Tuesday night to kind of kick things off. It'd be nice if we can create some teams and have them sign up prior to September 30th so we can put folks in teams. That's one of the ideas for Tuesday night. It's early in the week. And again, I'm not mentioning any academic stuff or any partying. I really don't do the party part of it. But Wednesday, October 26th, there's an actual scheduled volleyball game for the boys and girls volleyball. and generally that's 4 o'clock for the girls and 5:30 for the boys. That's also our senior night. The game's generally done by 7:30. We'd like to get together some alumni after the volleyball game to get an alumni volleyball game going. That would be great. That would be great to get our alumni out here playing possibly the staff versus the alumni. Notice the theme so far has been alumni, right?
Yes,
That's
I
Wednesday
love it.
night.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Thursday, we're working with, the band director has thrown something at me. He would like to do a battle of the band versus Norview on that Thursday. Again, these are things we're working on. We also, Thursday night would be the JV football game at Norview. So, the alumni should choose to go to the football game and watch the JV game, good, or come and do the battle of the band. If we can get that rolling, that'd be nice. Again, we're working on these things. Friday, of course, the school will do, we'll do our pep rally. All that would take place in the school. But on Friday night, the class of 2002 has already solidified. We've already talked about doing a 2002 versus all-star basketball alumni here at Norcom at 6 p.m. That is already set in stone. I've already put the paperwork in for that as a fundraiser. We'd love to get some alumni cheerleaders for that game since it's an alumni game. Alumni cheerleaders, some alumni band members, and we're playing with the thought of trying to get a guest comedian to host the game. That'd be real good. We're working on that. So, Ms. Stiff, you and I have a lot to sit down and talk about.
We have a lot to talk about.
Because
Wonderful.
almost everything that I mentioned here has to do with alumni. If you notice what the theme is. And then, of course, Saturday, we'll finish it up with the parade at 9 o'clock. And like I said, Dr. John Knight is bringing that back. And then the football game at 1 p.m. And at 6 p.m. that night, I will fall asleep because I'll be dead. So those are some of the things in the works.
We are excited. I know the alumni is going to be extremely excited. And we have an alumni meeting tomorrow night, so I can kind of get them geared up and ready to know what they are in for the month of October. So we're really, really excited. And James, I see you.
Coach, I have two quick things. One thing that you might consider, if not this year or next year going forward, the game between Norcom and Booker T should deserve some special recognition whenever they play.
Yes.
A game that's going on for over 60 years. And these are two of the last predominantly Black high schools, historically.
Look.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. It's still big. This is the coveted cup that we won last year. We actually beat them on their home field last year.
Okay.
That game is October 14th against Booker T. We did not make that, and it's at home now. It's at Norcom. We did not make that homecoming again because we didn't want to rival the day of Norfolk State homecoming week. So that will be our senior night, and we plan to keep the cup. So yes, it's still big. We're going to push it as much as we can this year.
Okay, and we will push it in as well. And the other last thing I wanted to say, because we all concerned about safety. I think the last couple of years, because of the attention that was paid by the media and everybody else on crime, a lot of people, myself included, kind of shied away from going to, because I was a regular at Friday night games. And I think we shouldn't let a small percentage of people who create problems prevent us from supporting our schools. And if we go out there in numbers, there's no way the criminal element can compete against people out there for a positive thing. And I think we should try to make sure that people feel comfortable and feel safe to come out there. I'm sure between the sheriff department and the police department, they're gonna make sure the games are safe, whether they're Friday night or Saturday during the day. So we should feel comfortable in coming back to the game, especially some of us that were regulars and kind of shied away the last couple of years because all we heard was, what might happen at a game or in the parking lot or something. So we're gonna have to just sort of push that aside and don't let that small percentage of that kind of element deter us from supporting all our schools, athletics programs, so hopefully we can sort of feel more comfortable as we do programs like this and assure the public that wants to attend and support their children that are playing, their student athletes that are playing, and just the general alumni and general people that support Portsmouth school athletes, especially at Northern.
Well, our sheriff and police department does an excellent job. There's certain things. There's an element of people that in every community that trying to disrupt stuff. But we have an excellent relationship with the law enforcement, and they do a great job to the best of their abilities. I think the community is going to come out and support us. We're going to send that message of safety, obviously. But I think it's a new thing. The revival is real, and that's throughout. In Portsmouth, but people are in every community. They can't wait to just get back into the norm, into the swing of things.
Exactly.
We certainly need to pray for our communities. And send a message to our young people that we can accomplish more together than when we break the links in the chain. So
exactly.
Indeed.
Well, this has been, I mean, I am excited. I'm ready to work. I said I was going to learn how to say no, but this would not be an occasion where I will learn how to say no, because I'm excited about all the great things that are coming up at Untitled High School. And we do need to support all of the athletic activities that go on, as well as the academic activities that go on. So it's important for us to support so that the kids can see us coming out and giving our support as well. So I'm really looking forward to
mention during the season, we would send out an athletic update, a weekly athletic update. And we've done it during the winter months and the spring months when I took over. We send out an athletic update, a weekly one, so you can know where we are, where the teams are. Maybe we can get the connection with the alumni committee that we can send it directly to them. I was sending it to Mr. Mack.
Yes, Mr. Mack, he is our representative for the alumni.
I was sending it to him. I was including him on the emails.
Good.
That they know, so alumni can know where we are, whether it's swim and dive, indoor track, basketball, wrestling, soccer. I don't know if you guys know, but our soccer team went to the first round of regionals this year. Baseball and our softball team went to the first round. Track and field had two individual state champions this year. The indoor track team finished third in the state. So there's a lot of other things. When people say we need to revive the athletic department, they were strictly talking about football and basketball. But our Scholastic Bowl team went to regional. So we have some things that's going on. Our kids had millions of dollars worth of scholarship this year. Thanks to Miss EFAT and the guidance department and the push from Dr. Foster. So there's a whole lot of positive. People accentuate the negative, as they always do for Black folks. But we're gonna make sure we push the positive.
Oh yes, we are. That's
from
for
athletics.
sure.
Yeah, not just from athletics, but for Norcom.
For Norcom in general.
And
because we are last of the historically Black high schools who've been continuous, because there are other Black high schools, but they've had some changes in between and then reclaimed this, but Norcom has been the only continuous Black high school in the nation. So we're excited. We're excited about all the great things that are going to take place. We're excited about the relationship between the Alumni Association and the Norcom family. So it's going to be a great time. Our time of revival. Our time of revival. James?
What do we call it, Leah? The HBHS? HBHS. Historically Black High School.
Yes.
HBHS.
Yes. HBHS.
HBHS, Historically Black High School.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Okay, as we wind down, we'll wind up, and Coach has a lot of things on his plate to do today, and we appreciate him staying a little longer than anticipated earlier, but we appreciate that because there's a lot to talk about. And as we wind down and get ready to close down, as we generally do, we give each host opportunity to make a last comments if they want to.
Colonel?
Thanks, Coach. On this morning, I know it's early, and I would say that you're probably one of Norcom's main cheerleaders. And as I see you talking about Norcom, I can see the love that you have in your eyes, and it resonates in your voice and actions and everything. And we need to see you out there, and hopefully this spills over to the community at large and everything. And I hope those not tears that I see you. I done brought tears to your eyes, but that's all good. So, but keep doing what you're doing. And you're talking about the historically Black high schools. The better part of that is, in today's culture, we have to not let them erase our history, because our history has to be told, because some of the struggles that we had going through to get to this point will be repeated again. And I always say that, and this could be, and I digress again, is that the Confederates on the other side want to erase us, and you can't let them do that. And so we have to know, because our futures depend on it. Our kids and grandkids' futures depend on it. And for me, I don't want to go back to the 1940s and 50s that the Confederates want us to do. I don't want to. I've seen, the separate but equal in the bathrooms and the water fountains and that. I've seen that. I've seen it where the head Klansman was marching down there at Virginia Beach, and I've seen all that stuff. And like you said, I've been stopped many times driving while Black, and I don't want to go back to that. And so let me get back off this as I digress. Keep what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Coach, I am truly excited what's taking place at Norcom. I cannot wait until the doors open up, the students come back, the faculty come back, and we got to keep the faculty motivated. We need to keep them motivated as well as the students. And also to those members of the Alumni Association or those graduates of Norcom who say, well, I always thought I was a member of the Alumni Association. Well, you're not a member of you're a Norcom graduate, you're an alumnus, but you're not a member of the Alumni Association unless you pay your dues. And we need you to pay your dues, because in order for us to help the programs that Coach Young has just talked about, the only way we can assist them is by you paying your dues and supporting the Alumni Association. When you support us, we can support Coach Young and the activities that are going on at Norcom. For one thing, I know with the football team, you usually look for people to prepare meals for them while they're at school, so they don't have to leave the school to go out to get meals as they're in school practicing and what have you. So you may have some alumnus out there who are willing to supply some food periodically to the guys. And there are other things that the team will need. And
Yes.
so we'll get a wish list, and we'll share the wish list for the various activities that go on at Norcom. We will share that wish list with the alumni. And I am just so thankful that I get to work closely with Coach Young, as well as with Dr. Foster, as
Yes.
we bring back the great things that have taken place in Norcom High School, and we bring back that good old Greyhound spirit. Coach Young, I am excited. I am ready to work. And I'm sure that many other members of the Alumni Association are also willing to work. I'm going to say just thank you. Thank you. Thank you for what you bring to the table. And I'm going to have to thank my classmate for grafting you into our family. I'm going to have to give her a special hug and a special thanks. So you tell her I said I love her dearly, okay?
All righty, will do.
James?
Coach, And Leah, I'm glad you mentioned about preparing meals for the student athletes. You know, I hope it's a little different from the time I played on the basketball team. We got bologna sandwiches. I hope it's a little bit more nourishing than we were glad to get those bologna sandwiches.
That's right. That's right.
And the last thing I must say, for you, dear Norcom, we do declare our love.
I love this, ever true.
And we want to
Allegiance,
thank you,
alma
Coach,
mater dear, we
yes.
justly give to thee. You
You
go ahead.
get us singing the alma mater now, but we
Oh,
have
yeah.
The school that we love best.
The school that we love best.
okay. And thank you, Coach. We appreciate it again. And Portsmouth Coffee Talk is here for our voice,
Our community.
Our future.
and we appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching, and we appreciate it. And we'll see you Thursday evening. And Leah, real quick, give us
I gotta sign off, so I'll see y'all.
Okay,
Okay.
Colonel.
take a Colonel.
On Thursday, we will have the Bloomberg Harvard Study Group, the group that's studying youth violence in the city of Portsmouth. Okay, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Thank you so very much. Be blessed. Have a great day. But on Thursday, we're going to have Nika Santos, who is the Harvard student who has been assigned to the Portsmouth family to work with the Bloomberg Harvard group, as we have discussed ways in which we can assist in alleviating violent crimes by juveniles in the city of Portsmouth. And prayerfully, along with Nika will also be a few of the members of the Bloomberg Harvard team, so that we can present to the public what we have learned, what we've been studying, what we have researched, and get them in as a part of the gatekeepers to assist us in bringing this to fruition. So that would be the BH5 or the Bloomberg Harvard group on Thursday at 5 p.m.
Okay, and thank you, and stay tuned, everybody. And this is something that the city of Portsmouth is doing to address the crime that we're experiencing in our city, and it's a really conscious effort to get to the root of the problem and come up with solutions that will really workable solutions that can sort of lower the crime rate. And of course, the ideal thing is to eliminate it altogether, but that's wishful thinking, but just to lower it to the point where it won't be the focus in the city of Portsmouth like
Exactly.
it's. We won't give them the opportunity, the media, the opportunity to focus on that. They will have to focus on the positive. So join us instead.
Wait a minute, James, before we go as well, Eric Perriman, I see you. I see you, Eric Perriman. You will not have to make me know who you are again, and I appreciate you. And James, before we go, we have to mention what a marvelous event Dorian brought to the city of Portsmouth over the past 3 days. Right from the Black Tie Gala at the Norfolk Waterside Marriott, to the basketball camp for the youth at Norcom High School, to the unveiling of the showcase, Dorian's showcase, his personal showcase at IC Norcom on Saturday, and onward to the family day at Douglas Park Elementary School, the baseball tournament. So many great activities, so many things that Desiree, we love you. We love your family. We love the great things that you've brought to the city of Portsmouth. And if you missed any of the events, you can go on James Overton's page where he has gone live at each of the events. And on my page, I have some events on my page, but you must go and see all the great things that that Dorian, Desiree, the Finney Smith Foundation is doing for the city of Portsmouth, and also the dreams and the goals that they have for additional things that they're going to do in the city of Portsmouth. I just couldn't go off today without saying what a marvelous, marvelous weekend it has been. And everything has been first class all the way. Thank you, Dorian. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Desiree. Thank you to the Finney Smith family. Thank you so very much.
Yes, and I'll end with saying I attended the baseball competition and family cookout yesterday, and a lot of people there, and everybody had a good time. And the Finney family was also responsible making that field look just as clean as it was before they got there.
Probably
And
cleaner than it was before they got there, huh?
it looked cleaner to me than it was. And they took on that responsibility as well and didn't leave that to the city. And that was very commendable. And standing out there watching them doing the actual cleanup made everybody that was standing there want to pitch in. I pitched in myself, and clean up. I mean, just to see them do it, made, spot other people just standing out there say, oh, okay, well, if they doing it, let's make sure, let's help, So, that was a perfect ending to a great weekend of them coming back home and remember. And they continue, they're going to do this all year. And they have some other things in the pike that they want to do in the city of Portsmouth, some big development events that they're trying to put together. So let's kudos to the Finney family and what they're doing. And hopefully people that come through our city's schools and go off to do some great things. It doesn't have to be athletic, but in the medical field, whatever, that they see the opportunity to come back and support the city of Portsmouth and make sure we get the recognition that we deserve. And don't be go all through the nation and just showing the negative. Okay, so thanks a lot. We appreciate you, and we'll see you Thursday and every Monday at 6:30 p.m. and every Thursday
6:30 a.m. James.
a.m. Thank you. Don't come here Monday at 6 p.m. because we won't be here. But every Monday morning, 6:30 a.m. and every Thursday, either at 5, at least during the Sunset Thursdays, we'll be coming on at 5, and then after that, we'll be coming on at 7, or whatever our guests dictate. But we'll be on every Thursday. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Leah, and get some rest.
James.
Busy weekend.
Yes.
And all
have a great one.
you do the same. Take care.
Take care.